Hello everybody, RegiTime here, and today in this video we are going to be playing reviewing a short pot limit Omaha session I played last night on the Potbombers Club. The Potbombers Club is a club in like an Australian/Asian region in the PPPoker streets. I've just started a kind of affiliation with the Potbomber guys. They're really good, really slick, really professional. They know the business really well. They've got all kinds of like important people within the network associated with them, and they're a really solid, really safe club, really solid, really safe set of guys. And yeah, I'm really comfortable working with them, and you should be too. If you want to be playing on PPP or any of these clubs, you need to be sure you're working with good people who have good contacts and who are just really solid, super safe. And for me, these guys have that. Their setup is really good. They're really efficient. They're easy to get hold of, easy to contact, and yeah, I just feel really comfortable with these guys. And yeah, I put my trust in them, and I know a lot of you guys put your trust in me. So there you go. It seems like a good fit and a good connection for me. And yeah, I wanted to play some PLO last night because the games are just so good. If we just like take a look around the HUD stats before we start, and you know, there's just lots and lots of like loose passive players in these games, and it's the sort of games that you want to be in as a player. You know, whether it's no limit hold'em, pot limit Omaha tournaments, whatever poker game you choose to play, you want to be playing with like bad loose passive players most of the time because they're the easiest guys to beat long term. My lifetime PLO results, I don't really know what they are because I haven't played with tracking software for several years now, so it's hard to know how good my results are. I would say like with the 4-card variant, I'm probably a lifetime winner. 5-card variant, almost certainly a lifetime loser, and the 6-card variant, definitely a lifetime loser. But there's just so much room for improvement for me in my PLO game, and it's something I've flirted with on and off for several years now. We're never really kind of stuck at. I mean, maybe that's going to be the case again, but I'm planning on playing quite a lot of PLO over the coming days. Just the 4-card variants and just trying to tap into these really loose passive games and just see what I can do. I mean, the worst thing that can happen is I drop, 10 buy-ins, run bad and decide, fuck it, it's not for me again. But I really enjoyed playing these games last night, and hopefully you guys will enjoy the video. Stick with it. Even if you're a no limit hold'em guy, please stick with it. Please hit the thumbs ups, hit the likes and things like that. It helps the video do really well. And yeah, just give it a whirl. So I'll kick off starting the video now, and we'll do the playback to as fast as it goes, like we did in the last video. And then we'll just stop and pause at the interesting spots, which I think there'll probably be quite a lot of them because it's pot limit Omaha and you get a lot more cards. So hopefully we won't miss too much of the action, and I can keep my eye on the action at all the tables. So here on table 3, we flopped middle set in a single raise pot, so you would imagine that our 2 kings are the best hand. Obviously we're behind stuff like queen 10, but versus someone who's playing 70/ whatever that is, 10. We're just going to bet big and just not fold, I guess. The call turns obviously a total break. We try and put him all in, and he calls. He called with it was just a total cooler. Jack set over set on the flop. Nothing much to see here. It's just now a question of how many times do we want to run it, I guess, because we can run it multiple times. As we've given the offer in these games that the person who has the best made hand, not necessarily the highest equity in the hand, which is particularly relevant in PLO, but the person with the best made hand gets to offer the other player, the opportunity to run it multiple times if they want. Obviously, you don't have to. You can just hit the quit button and run it once, or you can offer him run it twice, run it 3 times, and then they can either choose to take it or leave it. If they leave it, then obviously we just run it once, and if they accept your number of runnings, then that's what will happen. And I think that's what's happened here. I think I offered him, usually when I'm like such a huge favourite, I'll try and run it as many times as possible to try and realise as much of my equity as possible. If you give me the chance to run it 10 times here, I'd run it 10 times because I'm just a fucking nit. So I'm presuming I'm going to offer him to run it 3 times, and then we'll see what he does. And he just decided to run it once, which is probably right with his hand. He didn't get there, didn't make his quads. So we took down a very easy pot. Here we've made a non-nut flush on table 2. It's a very tiny pot. I think it's a sort of spot here where, and again, my PLO game is not anywhere near where you would maybe want it to be, but this seems like a spot in a super small pot where we should just bet fold small. We have like whatever we got there, the 3rd nuts with our Jack 9. I think it's just really bet small, fold to a raise, because we're not going to be getting bluff raised here. If someone's in here with a 10 high flush or a 8 high flush, which is the next 2 highest flushes possible, they're not going to raise, they're just going to call or fold. So I think it's a good spot just to bet. We can get called by some straights, get called by some 2 pairs, get called by some smaller flushes. So I did bet small, ready to fold to a raise if one came in. It didn't, and we won a small pot. Not super interesting, but worth stopping and talking about. We have this set mine here with the King 10-10-3. It's a pretty rubbish hand, to be fair. We kind of have a half decent flush draws. I'd draw to the second nuts if one comes down, but pretty much we're just that kind of set mine in here, or just looking to like get in a hand on the button with a reasonable starting holding, but nothing exceptional, and they're just trying to play our position really well post flop against players that we would expect to generally have just way more poker sense than. I mean, time will tell if we do or not, but if I haven't got better poker sense than somebody playing 82-5, 64-15, maybe 37-27, he might have as much or more poker sense than me, but generally speaking, going to be in position against 2 very weak players. So if I can't make my position work for me long term in this situation, then I've no business in the games. So flop checks through. Turn he leads out. We should definitely just fold here, which we do. And then that's just what happens. The pot finishes. I think that these types of hands I used to get a little bit married to in the olden days, which they're just pretty rubbish. They look pretty good, 3 high cards, but we're blocking our own flush draws there with the extra heart that we don't really want to see, and we'd be a lot more playable if with the 6 was a club. But again, even then, it would look very pretty, but most of our draws wouldn't be to the nuts. And in this game, I think you kind of want to be playing hands that can improve to the nuts quite easily, so you can like flush over flush people, set over set people, have higher straights. So really in these games you want to be looking for like starting hands that have high cards, suitedness and connectivity. Now this has some high cards and it has some suitedness and some connectivity, but none of it's like primo. Like we haven't got like it'd be much better if we had like an ace rather than the 6. If this is like ace, king, 6-10 double suited, it'd be a monster. But king, 6-10 queen with 1 suit and then an extra suit in our hand, it's nowhere near as good as it. I mean, I used to play these kinds of hands all the time, but they just don't turn out too well. So much as we'd like to play it, typically I'm going to be finding fault with that most of the time. Now it's different if we were to get this hand dealt to us in the cut-off and it had folded to us. I think it's fine as an open, but I don't think it's a particularly good hand to want to play. Sure, it has someone else either limped into the pot or even worse, someone's raised in front of you. Here on this table we have the Ace Jack 9-9 again looks a bit better than it is. The Jack 9's like the flush draw, which is a shame. It'd be a lot better if the flush draw was to the ace high. But again, from the cut off, I think it's a super standard open. We don't flop particularly well, but we c-bet and take it down. Table 2, this would be an excellent PLO high-low starting hand. I'm not really sure I've got any business calling this re-raise from someone who's got no fucking money. I think I'm about to make a mistake here. It's just a pretty, it's a dreadful hand to defend versus a 3-bet. Yeah, not really sure what I'm doing here. Looks like I'm about to make a mistake, but that's why we do these review videos, I guess. Spot our mistakes, because that is now a truly horrendous flop. He's going to bet his $2, and we're going to be getting 7.5 to 1 to call with a hand that's probably got enough equity to call getting 7.5 to 1 with just our backdoor draws, I would guess. But yeah, we've made a bad defend pre, and now I guess we're going to have to make a bad call on the flop and basically just play this hand shite, and we get it in drawing really, really crap. Yeah, not my proudest moment. Not my proudest moment by a long way there. This isn't necessarily meant to be an educational video, because you can't teach what you don't know, and there's lots I don't know about PLO. It's much more to show any PLO players that do lurk in the channel and watch my videos just how good the games are here. So you can maybe think about getting in touch and getting involved in the games yourself. Here on table 3 we've flopped trips and we lead out, and we bet the turn and we just take it down. Here on table 3 we've raised it up with the kings, 1 suit. And we've got a kind of flop. There's some draws out there. The likelihood is that kings are probably still in front of this guy's range, 49/3. Obviously we're behind to like Jack 9 and sets. But and of course it's PLO, so you can have Jack 4 and 9/4 too. If he's in there with a hand, I don't know, like Ace Jack 10/4 or something like that, then they can have all the 2-pair combinations. Having a 4 is probably quite useful in terms of like blocking some of the weird 2 pairs he might be able to have and blocking bottom set. I think at this point we should probably just go ahead and bet and just like commit with our hand at this point versus someone. We've only got like 1.5x pot left. So I guess if he bets, we should probably just raise and get it in. If he checks, we should probably just bet big. Again, it's not a super exciting situation. We only have an overpair. But I think at this SPR, we just need to go with it. Let's see what I do. Right, hang on, it's multi-way, so I take back everything I said. I didn't realise it was multi-way. So yeah, I think once he pots it and he calls, then I think folding is entirely appropriate. I did not see this guy here still lurking around in the pot, so ignore all of that I've just said. And there we had. It would have been pretty grim for us had we stuck around and this guy not called, because we'd have been up against top set and in incredibly rough shape. Jack 4 Ace 9. Now that's a pretty looking hand to me. Again, our hand isn't too well connected, but we do have 2 suits, which I don't know. It looks good. It feels good. Would be nicer if the Jack was a king or something, so we had like 2 really high flush draws. But I think this is the type of hand you probably want to be 3-betting with to try and isolate him. I don't know. Maybe it plays better as just a call and try and get more people in the pot with potentially draws that are dominated by us. I'm not sure. Maybe it's not a 3-bet. Maybe it's just a call. Maybe we shouldn't be doing much 3-betting at all in these games, because people typically don't like to fold, especially bad PLO players, of which I count myself as one. So maybe it's just a call, maybe it's a 3-bet, I'm not sure, but we did elect a 3-bet this time. And we flop a pair, which is probably not worth too much at the moment, and a flush draw that probably isn't too spectacular. But in a 3-bet pot, then I guess that like having weaker draws doesn't matter quite as much, given that the SPR is much lower. I think that stacking off in a single race pot or a limped pot with just a flush draw here would be awful, because there'll be a lot more like potentially stronger draws out there. But in a 3-bet pot where people might just have like made 2 pairs and things like that, and maybe don't have the high flush draws to go with it, I don't know, could be talking bollocks again, but it feels like stacking off in a 3-bet pot with like a weaker flush draw seems a lot better than stacking off in a single race or a limped pot with a weaker flush draw. So obviously we just put the money in, get it in against a draw that has us crushed, and lose the pot. Well done, Reg. Over here on table 2, we have flopped. Let's just see what happened here on table 2 to begin with. So this player's limped under the gun. We've isolated with 10 Jack King 7, which again I'm not a huge fan of, but the guy's playing 84 VPIP. So whilst this hand is very, very weak, we need to be trying to isolate these guys. Again, not sure this is a good hand to do it with, but I'm learning as I'm going along. It feels like it can't be terrible because the guy's playing 84% of hands. So it feels like it can't be terrible. We do have like 3 high cards. Our hand's somewhat connected. It has some high card strength. Maybe overplaying again here. Who knows? But feels okay to me. We flop top 2 pair anyway. He bombs pot into us. We should just jam here. So many worse hands we can get called by. I mean, the only hand we're really worried about him having is like a set of 5s. We've got top 2 pairs, so we only lose to sets. We block pocket kings and pocket jacks really hard, obviously, and we don't block that many draws he can have. We don't have any hearts in our hand, which is really good because it means he can have a lot of flush draws that he's bluffing with. He can also have, we don't have a queen, which means he can be bluffing with some queen X combinations too. So I think our hand's going to play really well against his like semi bluffs here, and do okay against his value too. So I think it's just time to pile the money in and roll the dice, I guess. And we did get it in against King 10, 9, 5, so we've got him absolutely crushed. We have his, like, he's got no 2 pair outs. He does have some straight outs, he has the gut shot outs and the flush outs, so we haven't got him, like, crushed. Isn't, well, yeah, as you can see by the equities, we don't have him crushed. It's basically a coin flip, but it felt like we had him crushed until we look at the percentages, and then we realise, fuck me, we don't have him crushed because he's got lots and lots of outs. We got him crushed in like made hand strength, but we didn't have him crushed in. He had tons of equity against us, but we got there anyway, or we held, should I say. Again, I don't think I like this open under the gun very much. We have a nut flush. That's about it, and yeah. I think this is maybe a mistake, but again, we're playing against so many like super loose players. It just feels like we want to be trying to play as many pretty hands as we can against them, and then just trust our poker instincts and our general poker skills to help us negotiate post flop. This could easily be quite a big mistake, though. I don't know. And then we hit that flop, so at least post flop's going to be easy to play. We just don't put any more money in. Oh, Reggie, what are you doing there? I don't think I like this over limp. Yeah, we got the 9-10 jack. It just looks like a weak play, doesn't it? I understand why I've done it. We have the button. We have like a reasonable rundown type hand. And we're going to have position, but on review, not liking it too much. I guess we have to peel once on the flop with our decent straight draw, and then we just fold the turn and give up. I say decent straight draw, it's not that decent, is it? We have like the gut shot to the 8, and that's about it really, but it is one, if we hit the 8 then we do have the nuts with redraw to a bigger nuts. Right, why the fuck am I raising this hand then? Yeah. I don't know. I just don't know. Interesting. I guess I'm liking the fact we've got like the Jack Queen suited in the 2-7s, but it's just not a good. It doesn't look like a good PLO hand. The key to playing like good PLO starting hands is that as many of your hole cards work together as well as possible. And this is just two separate pretty hold'em hands, isn't it? I mean, pocket 7s is a good hold'em hand. Jack Queen suited is a good hold'em hand. As a PLO hand, it doesn't work too well for me. I think that's. Well, it can't be a mistake. We're opening from the cutoff. So, I mean, it can't be a huge mistake, but I think I've probably just, like, got a little bit more excited about this hand than perhaps I should. Probably a fine open, though, still. King 10 Ace 5, we're certainly going to be playing this, I would imagine. Yep, we pop it up from the button over the limp. We don't flop very well though, and I'm presuming we're just going to be folding to any bets or checking back any if we get the opportunity. Ace Ace 10 Jack double suit, Ace Ace 10 Jack single suited. Obviously delightful hand to 3-bet with on table 2, and we don't get the best of flops, to be frank, do we? We have backdoor, shit flush draw, and a gut shot to the king. But the pot's fucking enormous. I think if this checks, I think if anyone bets here, we should probably just fold. If it checks to me, we should certainly check back. Fuck knows what to do. I guess we're about to find out. Hit the time bank. Hopefully we're not going to do anything stupid here. Because this dude's potted it, but he's playing an 84 fucking VPip. And we do have the overpair still. Right. I don't know what I did. I don't remember this pot. So let's have a think about what, if we could have our time again, what would we do here? I mean, we're deep as well, aren't we? When we look how deep we are, we're like 150 blinds deep at this point. That's an 84 VPip who's potting it. Wow. I don't know. The honest answer to this is, I don't know. Answers on a postcard. I think if it was like just, if this was it, if this was all in, we need to call. But it's not all in. There's still over 100 blinds to play for. If we just call here, then he's almost certainly jamming the turn. If we jam here, then is he going to be calling with hands that we have crushed? No. So, I think I want to fold. I think for a pot size bet here, we just call if that's all the money going in. But we got $66 behind to play for. At the minute, we've only invested $4 into this pot, $4.80. Is our hand worth another $60 odd here? I don't fucking know. But I hope to see myself fold. And we do. That could be a mistake, but that's what we hope for. Raising over the straddle with the Ace 10 Queen 6, which looks like a super primo hand to me. We get 3-bet by somebody with a 1% 3-bet though. He's playing 49/3 with a 1% 3-bet, and we get 3-bet to 960. I do remember this hand. We made a disciplined fold, and I like that fold against someone who, I mean, he's probably just got aces here, and we do not want to be defending versus aces in PLO with an ace in our hand. Yeah, I just don't think we want to anyway, so you're going to see me make a tight fold here, or it feels like a tight fold. maybe next time we open again with a much less pretty hand. Our opponent 3-bets it again, which makes me kind of wonder if I should have folded to the previous 3-bet. But maybe he just gets aces twice in a row, who knows, or aces one hand, kings the next hand. And we just fold again because our hand's pretty trash against a narrow 3-bet in range, or what we think is a narrow 3-bet in range. Two queens and a 10-jack over here, which we like, but then we don't like the flop. We don't like the turn, and we just fold. What is going on this table? Let's go back and review this, because this pot's pretty big. $192 in it. So let's go back and see what's happened in this pot. It looks like a lot of fun. Alright, so we have this guy who's limped under the gun here on table 2. We have the guy who's under the guy who's limped. So we have the regular who's put the squeeze in. Then this dude's like limp and repotted it. And everyone's taken a flop. Then we get this board. So we have a situation here where 4 players are all in for 25 blinds each, just about, or thereabouts, which makes you feel like we're in good games, if nothing else. We just have a pot size jam, pot size re-jam, and then a pot size re-jam again. And we've had 3 players in the pot. So this dude's limp raised ace 10 8 3, which doesn't seem good. This dude's just having a fucking giggle, isn't he? Ace dude's 5 3. Been excellent shape if he was in a high-low game, but he's not. But he has flopped 2 pairs, and then this dude's flopped middle set. So I'm not sure any of these guys have any business putting 25 blinds in pre-flop with these hands in particular, but they've done it, and then they've got the cooler flop. Well, not really cooler for him. He's just like pissed up. This guy's swapped the 2 pair. This guy's swapped the middle set. So post flop makes sense for these 2 guys to want to get it all in, I guess. Although this hand shouldn't be in pre-flop. This hand probably shouldn't be in pre-flop. And I mean, this, I think, isolating with this hand on the button, I really don't like it. I think maybe just over limp if you want to play the hand. Not sure I like isolating, and I certainly don't like calling with it once someone puts the limp raise in. So yeah, basically all these hands have no business, in my opinion, being in the pot, given the pre-flop action. But there you go. It's pot limit Omaha. Weird things, crazy things happen, and a crazy thing just happened. Here on table 3, we flop a flush draw. Board pairs, but we keep betting. And then we bet again the river. I think we're bet folding there all day. Don't think we get raised without somebody having a full house. But we can certainly get called by some straights that get there on the river. Like Jack 10's just got there. Some worse flushes have just got there. Some better aces will call. When we got them beat too, so... Yeah, like if he's got like a 2 pair type, like an ace 9 or maybe even an ace king, something like that might call. Who knows? I mean, it's 49-3. But yeah, I think it's going to be a crystal clear bet fold on the river. So here we have an interesting spot where we are in the big blinds. It's been a limp, and then a regular, or someone who looks like a regular, almost certainly is a regular, has squeezed from the button, as you would expect them to do with a relatively wide range, and then a loose passive small blinds come along, and I hit my time bank here, because remember, I was trying to decide whether we should be, I mean, we're never folding, we're trying to decide whether we should be 3-betting here, or just calling and looking to take a flop with a hand that's got like good high card strength, good connectivity, and it's got one decent flush draw and one probably quite worthless flush draw. So I think now, looking back at it, I'd probably like to see myself just put a big squeeze in here. I don't think that's what I'd do. I think I'd end up just wimping out and going with the call. But if I could have my time again here, given that this player doesn't have to be super strong, given he's just isolating 2 limpers, and we've got like a 71 and a 60 VPIP, I think I'd prefer to see myself just like hit the pot bet button here and just mash pot in, and then just take it from there. But I did just call, which is, I think it's a weakish play, and now we just have to give up because we've just got almost no equity and we don't have the initiative. That was interesting. I was not trying. I thought, it's a bug here. Why can't I raise? So I wanted to raise my double suited kings, but this guy was like all in the big blind for one big blind, so we couldn't get the raise in, and then we lost. Double suited aces next hand. Does it get any prettier than that? So we've, in a multi-way pot here, we've got double suited aces. We've improved to a flush draw on the flop, so we have our overpair and we have our nut flush draw. It's just the most easiest big bet of all time. Our opponent raises, we just smash it all in because PLO. And this guy's in not the worst shape, but not good shape. He has outflopped us with 2 pairs, but we have the overpair, so we can counterfeit him. We also have like the flush draw to fall back on. I mean, I guess he has to go with his hand here. He's flopped a flush draw himself, and he has 2 pairs. So yeah, I think once his flop comes down, the hand's completely played itself. It's just a cooler and one that we win. I'm not sure, but I think that's about the last interesting hand of the video. I know now I wound my session up. I was playing this like 2 in the morning, which is a bad time to play on this in this particular club because it's like very early in the morning in the areas where most of the players come from. So it's not a high traffic time. I was going to try and get another table, but then there weren't any, so we just kind of wound the session up. So I don't think there's anything else to see in this video, so I think we're just going to, oh no, maybe there is, we'll see it through. Here we have a good shot, second nut flush draw, sorry, not a good shot, we have, yeah we do we have a good shot? No we don't, we have, I'm not sure what you call it really, any king, queen or 10 gives us a straight, and we have the flush draw too, so super standard large bet. We get jammed on, we call, we get it in against, what's he got here? Ace 8, so we get it in against 2 pairs. But as you can see, even though he has the best made hand here with his 2 pairs, because we don't have a made hand yet with our king 10, queen deuce, we are a significant favourite, we're 62% favourite, so he's got the best hand here, but he's still an underdog, which is kind of how PLO works sometimes. And we instantly get there on the turn and then get there even more on the river. And we had a nice end to the session. I think I ended up this session winning like $40, something like that, maybe a tiny bit more. What are we doing here with this hand? Let's rewind back and look at this one. It's going to be the last hand of the video, I guess. And we're too busy looking at the other one. So we've got the ace, queen, 7-7 here. Presuming we're going to isolate the limper on the button. Yep, we do. And we get 2 callers, flop a top pair. An opponent bets into us. I mean, I think we can just fold here. We have the backdoor non-nut flush draw and the backdoor flush draw and top pair. So again, these are the spots I need to understand better in PLO, because this is probably quite an easy spot for a PLO player. They'll probably know me. I don't know if this is a call or a fold, but a good PLO player would know this immediately. It feels to me like we probably have to call, because we do have top pair and we do have some lots of good turn cards for us with, like, you know, a club or a spade. Really good, going to allow us to continue either by just jamming over a turn barrel if we hit like a spade, maybe calling again if we hit a queen, I don't know, but it feels like a spot where we probably should be defending, but yeah, I'm not certain of it. We improve to a draw on the turn, and it looks like I'm going to fold here, and not sure I like it. We're going to get in 3-1. 3-1 on a call. Do we have 25% equity? I mean, if he's got a set or a straight, no, we don't. If we're just drawing to our flush, so basically we're drawing to a flush that's not the nuts, and we're not getting the right price. So unless we think we have the best made hand some of the time, I mean, even if we count our 2 sevens as outs too, we're still only 11 outs, which is what, about 20. We're almost getting the right price. It feels if our sevens are live, but it might not. Our sevens might not be live. He might already have a straight. Our flush draw might not be live. He might have a stronger hand with a stronger flush draw too. There's a lot of unknowns going on here, isn't there? And again, it feels like a close spot. And I think it feels like a close spot when someone's being aggressive, and it feels like a close spot, and then you've got to go into the tank. I think usually then you probably should be folding, because I was listening to a PLO player on the Galfon stream yesterday, and he said it, and it made so much sense to me. And it's something that, when I thought about it, I completely agree with him. And you guys might too. If you're in spots where someone's betting into you, and you have to go, it feels quite close, and you have to go into your time bank to decide whether to call or not. He was arguing, or he's making the case that when he has to go into his time bank to decide whether to call a large bet or not, he just usually folds nearly all of the time, because his results over a long period showed him that whenever he went into his time bank to make a close call, a thin call, or whatever you want to call it, he just lost like 90% of the time. So now he's got this little rule for himself, is if I have to go in the time bank, if I'm not sure it's a crystal clear call without using my time bank, then I'm just going to fold, because his own history tells him that he's making losing calls when he's doing that. So it resonated with me, and now I don't think I had that thought at the time when I was playing the hand, but that thought's certainly come to me now, and it's something I'm going to try and bring more into my game, because it just makes a lot of sense. I'm hoping I'm going to fold here, because it feels to me like if I was taking my time on review to decide whether we should call or not, then going by the rule of if you go into your time bank in a close spot you should fold, then we're well into our time bank here, so we should just fold. What do I do though? I do fold, so that's something at least. And that is now going to be the last hand of the video, because it's finished. So we'll just rewind it back, or do something with it to make it not have a shit end screen. There we go. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed a little run through the PLO. This is not a educational video by any stretch, but I like PLO. It's interesting. It's fun to play. The 5 and 6 card variants more involved. You can play more hands, but the variance is just huge. If I am going to give PLO another run, and at the moment it's feeling like I am going to give it another run, even though these no limit hold'em games are super soft, I can make money in them. I've always had this love-hate relationship with PLO, and I guess I'm feeling at the moment like I've got another couple of days of trying to learn a little bit more about it again. I think the Galfon challenge is inspiring me to want to play. My wife's playing some PLO. We play a PLO home game with our friends. Basically, there's been a lot of PLO activity around me recently, and I haven't really got involved, but maybe the urge is just getting too much of me again. So maybe we'll have a weekend of PLO cash games during the day and home game tournaments at night time, and yeah, hopefully enjoy myself. try and make a few quid, try and get a little bit better. So yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed it. I know it's not the usual stuff, and a lot of guys won't even have clicked it when they see the PLO in the title, but yeah, there might be some more coming, so we'll see. But yeah, we'll leave it there for now, I think. Hope you guys have a fantastic weekend if you're watching this on the day that the video is delivered. Stay safe, stay well, look after each other, stay indoors, and yeah, fingers crossed that things are starting to get better and we can all start to return to normal sooner rather than later. But take care for now, everybody. Be well. Much love from me. Bye-bye.